You're talking to about mothers, you've been bleeding every month, don't be ashamed of your breasts, expose your breasts, take them out, show the nipple, the nipple.
Welcome everybody to ESC Fan TV. It is 11:30 p.m. UK time, midnight Central European time, and we have just seen the final of Benidorm Fest 2022. Wow, what a competition, what a final. It's been absolutely fantastic. What a week. And we are going to talk to you about our favourites this evening and also whether Spain can win Eurovision 2022. Let's say a welcome to my panel. Let's start with our Spanish expert for this evening, Tristan. How are you, Tristan?
Yeah, I'm very well. I'm literally about an hour's drive away from Benidorm, but didn't get tickets because I would have had to have gone to all three shows. I just couldn't commit myself to all three because I don't have a car. So yes, I'm so close, but so far, if you know what I mean.
And did you enjoy the show this evening?
Absolutely loved it. I thought it was the best, certainly the best Spanish national final that there's ever been, without a shadow of a doubt. But it was actually really good. I mean, it'll be probably it will end up being the top national final of the year. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it could be, certainly be up there. Moving from Spain back to the UK, but he's certainly he's no stranger to Spanish music. In fact, he may even have dressed especially for the occasion. It's Andy. How are you, Andy?
Hola. Buenos días. Buenas noches. Buenas a todos.
Good to see you.
I know. Yeah, it is. It is good to see me. Don't say it like that.
It is good to see you.
I broke dry January for this contest.
Did you?
And I'm completely pissed.
I somehow knew tonight was a really bad idea. From Andy, we say hello to Elliot.
Hello, you just can't get rid of me, can you? And what would it be, a Spanish national final without a bit of drama, eh? But luckily no one got assaulted this time, unlike 2017.
Yeah, it's a good show. I think potentially you could win it. We're going to talk about that in a minute. From the Let Me Be The One blog and podcast, it's Martin Palmer.
Hi everyone, good show this evening. Really enjoyed that.
It was good, wasn't it? It was fun. And also, last but not least, we say hello to Phila Michelle.
Hello from Sheffield. What a fantastic show you put on tonight in Benidorm. Thank you.
No, it was great. It was a good variety of music. Really enjoyed it.
Loved it.
It's nice to see Spain taking the contest seriously.
It was, and there wasn't a single Brit in sight, was there, in Benidorm, which is unusual because that's 90% of the population of Benidorm is us Brits. Maybe it's just a little bit too cold. Right, Tristan, let's start tonight's show by talking about the competition in general. Spain have been selecting internal candidates for years, and they've been struggling. It's fair to say they've hardly been outside the bottom seven for some time. I think Ruth Lorenzo was their best attempt at Eurovision. How did this come across to you as a competition? Would this be considered a triumph for Spain?
Absolutely, and the fans in Spain are so happy. I mean, they've been the previous director of light entertainment in charge of the Eurovision was very unpopular amongst the Spanish Euro fans, Tony. So they're really happy that they've now got a new team behind it, and they're really credible acts. I mean, there's not sort of like any joke acts, and not there's no sort of there's been a few acts in the past which have you know, when they opened it up, for example, to YouTube applications, and you got remember that John Cobra guy who was quite rude to Annie, the presenter, one year. I think, I mean, it's very credible. I think the acts that have turned up are all they all got credibility. I mean, that's the whole thing about it. As I said in our previous show, the only one that was a bit of a throwback to old days would have been Gonzalo, which was it was a same really as Blas Cantor, the same sort of style. But apart from that, it was all different, diverse, lots of diversity, lots of different styles, and I think that's what as their motto was, El Festival Que Quieres, the festival that you want. And they would keep repairing it. This is what you want, and I think they got what they wanted. I think the people are happy.
I think they did. To be honest, I would take any of these songs for a UK national final any day of the week. Obviously translated, because I don't think we do very well with Spanish language songs. But the point being, this quality was very, very good. Just looking back before we get into the 8 from this evening, one was missing from the semi-final. Luna Key wasn't able to perform. That was actually one of your favourites when we reviewed these set of songs earlier this year. Tell us a little bit about what happened there.
Well, it's a very confusing because, I mean, she always said all along that she was going to be using autotune or Melodyne, whatever it is. It's a bit confusing. She says it's autotune. I think someone else says it's Melodyne. She can sing live. She sings perfectly fine live, and she often does live gigs. But as Luna, when she sings as Luna Key, that's her alter ego. And a part of her show is that she uses this vocal thing. And it is no real different to that little part of Fly on the Wings with Love. Fly on the Wings. That song that won for Denmark all those years ago, 2001 was it? It's the same. It's really the same software. Obviously, slightly more up to date. I think the issue may be that she was using it throughout, but the rules obviously don't disallow that being used, because it's not actually changing. It's not making her sing better. It is doing what Cher has been doing for years. It's using something to distort your voice, and it's not actually against the rules. Now, she was Luna Key was told just 3 or 4 days before the semi-final that it was against the Eurovision rules, and that's why they couldn't bring it. But there is no. I don't. There's a lot of controversy about whether it's against the Eurovision laws or whether Spanish television interpreted the rules for themselves. And I know that Alaska, or Vido Gara, the gothy presenter, she was BQ'd of Luna Key, and she was quite outspoken in an interview she gave recently, saying that she was outraged at the fact that that Luna Key was not disqualified but made to resign. And the fact is, it was just a short notice. I mean, Spain's known for a long time that this is what Luna Key was going to be doing. Why leave it so late and not allow another one of the two? There were 2 standby acts, but there's obviously too short notice for them to be brought in. There are 2 standby acts. I have a feeling one of them might have been Nina Polaka, who we saw in the first semi-final. I think there's a rumor that may have been one of the standby acts. But why leave it so late?
It does seem a bit odd to have really taken that decision late on. But let's face it, I don't think Luna Key would have troubled the scoreboard in the final. But let's look at the results tonight. So this is where we finished. 8 very strong songs for a national final. Gonzalo Hermida, I feel so bad for him, really. 35 points, propping up the bottom. Poor guy didn't even get to perform live. It seemed almost inevitable, but very hard on him. Shane with 45 points. Barry Brava, 55 points. Blanca Paloma, personal favourite of mine. I thought Secreto de Agua was an absolutely beautiful entry, 61 points. And Rayden, one of the big favourites going into this contest, on 67 points. Then there is a monumental gap between 4th and 3rd. Let's focus on those 5. Phil and Michelle, coming to you first. Out of those 5, who are your favourites and why? And do you see any of those 5? Should any of those 5 perhaps made the top 3?
For me, my favourite, I think, was Very Brava. It was just a nice, cool, summery song. But to be fair, it didn't really stand out enough.
How much do you only stand out? Look at the state of them.
Well, I know, but as a song, I don't think it stood out. And they did look like a band that were massive in the 70s and now playing the holiday camps.
No, they look like the sort of thing that you two would take off.
They would.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If they're qualified, we'd
So
have
that's not necessarily a good thing.
I thought it looked a bit like an Ali G impersonator. I thought that's what it was in for. It's bonkers. It had an earworm. You can clap your hands.
It was good. It was my favourite out of the bottom 5. Rayden was also good, but I just thought it wasn't quite energetic enough.
There's too many words in it. You know what I'm like with words, and it's just he didn't breathe. I couldn't breathe watching him. Just like,
there was a lot of words, but the performance was just. It didn't quite have the energy that I think it needed.
Yeah.
It did have MC Hammer trousers on.
Yeah. But really, they were my 2 favourites, I would say, of the ones that, the bottom 5.
Yeah. I actually agree with Phil looking back on my notes, and I'm a bit sad about that, to be fair. I'm sad, but I do agree. It was very bravo, to be fair.
I mean, I know Gonzalo came last, but to be fair, that sounded just like the stuff that Spain normally send and come just above the UK.
I think if they'd have sent Blanca Paloma, because it was sort of weird and bonkers and a bit odd, I think that would have stood out a mile. Because it was just, you remember it.
But it was a bit of a slow plod, the song. She sang it really well. I mean, she's got a fantastic voice.
But you remember it, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
You remember it.
But how do you though? How does it go?
That's a different song. Oh, Paloma Blanca. No, it's definitely not that one. So, thanks, Phil and Michelle. Martin, this was a very, very strong national final. I mean, I personally, I think it's up there in comparison to all the national finals we had last year. So I don't know how we can kind of compete really going forward, or there's certainly a benchmark that's been set by Spain. Hi Steve, thanks for joining us this evening. And by the way, we've got nearly 300 people of you watching. Come and join the chat room and send your comments in. Elliot's in the chat room with you, and let's be honest, Elliot wants friends. So come and have a chat with Elliot, leave your comments, and Elliot will put them up on screen. Martin, those bottom 5, it seems harsh calling them bottom 5. I think if I was being honest, I would say Gonzalo Hermida's song, as much as I enjoyed it, was the one I least wanted to win, given that it sounds like the song from Spain last year. But who was your favourite of that bottom 5? And should any of those bottom 5 perhaps had gone or reached a bit higher?
Well, my favourite of the bottom 5 was the one who kicked off the show, and in fact it worked quite well. I didn't think it was going to, was Rayden, and I enjoyed that. Sort of had the sort of alcohol is free type vibe that we got from Greece, and I think that would have stood out quite well in Turin, just purely of how it was staged. It would probably done a bit more, as Phil was saying, probably a bit more energy into it. But yeah, I like that one. It's so well. Blanca was actually surprisingly good, best vocals of the night for me, and again that would probably more like the top 10 sort of Spanish songs that we've been having. It's sort of more like a Ruth Lorenzo, Pastora Soler, just purely female soloist singing a power ballad, and always seems to do well for Spain. But yeah, I don't think really any of the bottom 5 were out of place in a way. I think the 3 that were at the top were the best ones, or the ones that had the most impact, and I think the ones that were always going to be the contending for the win.
Yeah, I agree. Andy, same question to you. And by the way, I think we both agree, because we've been talking throughout the whole of this process, and wow, what a process it's been. Blanca Paloma is just the most amazing song.
Oh, yeah, it's a wonderful song, and it could have done what France did last year and come second, but the song that won Benidorm Fest could have won Eurovision, so you can't argue about that.
Thanks, Andy. You've had a few drinks. You really have come out of January's dry
No, it's
January.
been a long January.
Actually, you've not got long left. There's only a couple more days, so I think you just about get away with it. But anyway,
Well, what do you want to know? Ask me anything.
I'm going to ask you questions about all of the Spanish songs, so don't you worry. Elliot, let's come to you for this one. And same question, really. In terms of this bottom 5, it's a bit harsh on Gonzalo Hermida, isn't it?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, someone's got to come last in the final, and at least he made the final because there were still some good songs that got left behind in the semis, and that's how you got to look at it. For me, from the 14, only 2 stood out from the snippets that I listened to, like I sort of mashed them, which was Rayden and Tanxugueiras. So out of these ones, Rayden was my favourite. Everyone loves a bit of a clapping bit in Eurovision. We know that. He's incredibly charismatic as a performer. Like he's just so watchable as a performer, but he was always the outsider from the other 3, so him getting 4th was probably fair, and the jump I wasn't so shocked about. My biggest surprise tonight was actually Shane. He did really well in the semi-final, and then tonight, all that support, especially from the jury, just kind of went off a cliff. I don't know what happened. He seemed perfectly the same from tonight and the other night, so I don't know if someone said don't vote for Shane because it could ruin the top 3. I don't know. It's happened sometimes with juries, but yeah, and I think as a roundabout thing as a show, it's very good. The new creative director has put the stamp on it very impressively. They said from the start they wanted Benidorm to be, I think, 4 years at least they signed on, so they really want this to be like a staple national final. And they've done a brilliant job of making this a credible national final. It was short, it was snappy, the standard was high, and I'm sure it'll get some bigger acts next year. But yeah, I think the top 3 were the 3 everyone was talking about, so sadly no one was able to disrupt that, but Rayden was definitely my favourite out of those quote-unquote bottom 5.
Tell you what, if that's their base standard, my God, I don't know what we're going to see next year. And I have to say, why have Spain not been doing this every year forever? Because they can clearly do it. I mean, it's incredible. Tristan, wrap this one up. In terms of that bottom 5, who was your favourite, and who could have been higher for you?
I mean, my favourite of those bottom 5 was Shane. I personally think that Shane, if hypothetically any of them were the winner, I think Shane would have got the highest result in Turin had it been the chosen song, and it's the only one I think could actually win the whole thing. I think because we've had a lot of sort of like up tempo songs in the past, like Fuego and stuff, and I don't want to that are not winning. I think because it's not as good as Fuego. Let's let Chanel. I personally think that this is different. It's current. It's very much like The Weeknd. It's what people are listening to right now. He's a fantastic voice. It was really good staging. I think it was of all of the 8 songs, in fact, of all the 14 songs, I think it wasn't my favourite, but I think it's that Shane's song is the one that would have done the best at the Eurovision proper. So huge. It just, I mean, and it's written by a great team, G-Son and people like that. It just ticks all the boxes for me. And he's a good-looking lad. It was a fantastic voice, considering that he's a YouTuber with no real sort of experience singing on stage in front of an audience. He was amazing.
Thank you, Tristan. Amazing. Quite great. So moving on then to 3rd and 2nd place. Just pull this up. So 3rd place was Tanxugueiras, the outstanding fan favourite going into this contest. And then Rigoberta Bandini, who was the favourite going into this song contest across everyone. So the fans of Eurovision, or the Spanish, desperately, I've got that round the other way, haven't I? It's the Spanish desperately wanted to send Tanxugueiras, and the fans wanted to send Rigoberta Bandini. But in the end, Tanxugueiras, despite winning the demoscopic jury and televote, still managed to finish 3rd. What on earth happened there? Andy, what happened in Spain tonight? How is it that essentially the viewing people of Spain wanted to send this song, but it didn't go through? You're on mute. You're still on mute.
Christ.
There we go.
I don't know why I do this.
Nobody knows why you do this.
What was the question?
Tanxugueiras finished third, but managed to win the demoscopic jury and won the tally vote. So clearly the choice of the Spanish people. What happened? What went wrong?
Oh, they were shit. What went wrong? I don't know. They were too aggressive. They were black and white. There was no light about anything that they did. I don't know. I would have been happy to have them in Turin, but I don't know. Ask Michelle.
Well, the interesting thing was the reason they didn't win, I think, was they finished sixth, joint sixth with the jury. Elliot, in your opinion, why did they score so badly with the part Spanish, part international jury tonight?
I guess because it's Tanxugueiras, and I love this song. It's it's dramatic. It's a bit pastoral. It's a bit flamenco. It's it's proper Spanish in my opinion, even though they're not singing in Spanish. I understand the risk of sending them though, and that's probably what people thought. It's the four that beat them were a lot more commercial. And I think that's what's happened here. Fans loved it because it was dramatic and drama. Would it have worked at Eurovision? I don't know, and I don't care because I would have loved it regardless. It was my winner. But the juries, even from the semi-final, just weren't invested in this song. And that's the sad thing. Even in their semi-final, they came 5th out of 6. And they were phenomenal tonight. They were a lot stronger, I thought. They were stronger vocally. They had more power. They went for it. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted them to just go for it a bit more, and it worked. They had the traditional Galician dancing, the song was great, tambourines in hand, and all this sort of stuff. So the story came across, and it's a powerful message. Everyone's talking about Rigoberta's message being powerful. This was powerful because it's about the Spanish gypsy migration. It's a powerful song, and the juries, I guess, it wasn't for them, but the Spanish people loved it. So I'm glad I'm not in Spain right now because I'm sure some people won't be happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same for Rigoberta Bandini, Martin. I mean, that was probably the one everyone expected to win going into this final tonight, and it came up short. We're talking 5 points from first to second this evening. Yeah, I mean, it feels like the one that got away. I can imagine that gone down a storm at Eurovision. But then, would the Eurovision fans have got the message?
I think with Rigoberta, it would have needed something adding to it, because I always felt it was a bit like Mercy for Madame Monsieur, that the fans loved it, but the message didn't go across to the people viewing, especially the public. Whereas if you've got some words in English or other languages, like you had Ermon Mata and Fabrizio Moro in 2018, or with Manisha this year, something that gets a connection with people who don't understand Spanish and who are just going to watch that and go, okay, there's a pregnant woman there, and there's a tit on a globe, and she's now lost her clothes. I don't really understand what's going on, and it's not necessarily going to make you think. You're going to be thinking, oh yeah, there's that Spanish one, but it won't necessarily make you think there's that Spanish one that I'm going to vote for, because you don't really understand the message. And I think in that regard, for me, I didn't connect with that song. I saw it and I thought, yep, it's a good song, it's well staged, but I could see it would have its problems. Whereas Tanxugueiras, I really enjoyed that, and for me, as somebody who's not Spanish, I think, oh, that is a definitely Spanish song. I'm enjoying it. It's passionate. There's dancing. You've even got one of the members of the group dancing along with the proper professional dancers. I could think, yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And for me, that out of the two, that would have been the one I would have preferred to see go forward to Turin, just purely because I connected with it, I understood it. Yeah.
Thanks, Martin. Phil and Michelle, what did you think of these two songs, Tanxugueiras and Rigoberta Bandini? And what did you make of Rigoberta Bandini? Bearing in mind, this is the first time you've seen these two songs tonight.
Well,
I probably should have said that at the start. Yeah.
Not for me. It was for Michelle.
It's the first time I remember seeing those two songs. Allegedly, I have seen them before.
But you hadn't seen that performance, to be fair.
No.
I had. No. I think the problem is, for me, that the professional jury was weighted at 50% and the professional jury played it safe. And I think both of these songs weren't safe, They were outstanding. They would have been different. They would have definitely stood out. And I like both of them. I mean, Tanxugueiras, it was different.
I like that.
It was maybe a little bit shouty.
I like a shiny bloke hitting stuff.
The choreography with the guys in skirts wasn't great, but it was different. It was
buff men wearing skirts. I mean, what more do you want?
The choreography, it was a bit Jedward dancing, but
no, it wasn't. You're deluded.
But for me, I mean, I like Rigoberta because it was about boobs, and what's not to like about boobs?
Oh God!
No, it had a message, but it started off slightly strange and just gradually went more and more bonkers. You know, you had the strange dancing, then suddenly in the background there was a pregnant woman and she took her dress off, and then there was a big glow boo with a nipple where the UK is on planet, and then everyone took the shirts over their heads. And
right.
It was bonkers.
On a serious note, what was it called? The Terra one. I loved it. I loved the shiny bloke hitting drums. There's something good to look at. I like the ladies as well. They were fierce. They really meant it tonight. I love the way it built. It built and it built and it built and it built. And I think that would have looked fantastic on the Eurovision stage. It would have had some impact. Whereas the woman lobbing a boob out on a bloody globe is just going to be like, people are going to go, what?
Nah, it would have been talked about.
No, yeah, it would have. What? You're not going to pay 15p to vote for that, though, are you? You're going to pay 15p to see a shiny bloke hit a drum again.
Thanks for the Michelle.
Who vote? The men that are voting on Eurovision don't
Talking though about this subject and predicting a boob on stage was Tristan from the preview show that we ran a few weeks back. Tristan, you got this one almost spot on.
Almost. I actually thought they'd go a little bit further, to be honest. I actually thought that they would actually be some boobage, real boobage on the stage, just basically because of the message of the song. The message is about not being afraid to show your breasts. Why the breast is such an important the part of motherhood and and important of breastfeeding. I thought that maybe, I mean, it would have been a bit of a gimmick, but I think that had maybe when the backing singers lifted their tops off, that one and had the vest on underneath, if they'd all been topless underneath, especially the fact there were two male backing singers and two female backing singers, the hypocrisy of the fact that it's okay for men to show their top halves, but for women not to show their top halves, even though the only difference is a few sort of grams of fat. I think that would have sent a powerful message, and I think that would have actually possibly pushed them to victory, and it certainly would have got people talking on the run up to Eurovision, whether they were going to do it at the song contest. So but I knew they were going to do something. I thought they'd actually do a little bit more. I don't know whether they were told not to, or whether it was never in the ideas in the first place.
Maybe Michelle could do it now.
do it for what motherhood? There we go.
Go on.
You do it, Andy.
I'm hiding my cigarette so that you don't get demonetized.
So there's your top. Your third and second place. Talking about our top for this evening, it was the beautiful and stunningly talented Chanel with the song Slo Mo. I must admit, going into this contest, I was giving props to another very similar Latin pop number, which didn't do so well in semi-final 2. However, this blew everyone away in semi-final 1. I don't think anybody was expecting Chanel to come out and deliver a Lenny Ferreira-esque performance. Whether you like the song or not, what you can't deny is the lady has the utmost charisma, absolute, owns that stage, and it's a potential, in my opinion at least, potential contender at Eurovision 2022. who knows what we're going to get in Eurovision? It's still early days, but it's definitely up there for me as a song which I could see doing really well on a Saturday night in May. Andy, you've already said you see this as a potential winner.
Yeah,
Were you being honest about it? Could you see us going to Madrid or Barcelona in 2023?
It was the only one that could have won. It's been a fantastic show. Lovely songs. I loved 8 of the songs, but this was the only one that could win Eurovision.
And why do you think that is, though? What sets it apart from the rest?
It's pan-European.
Okay.
It's fantastically well performed, but everybody in Europe would look at it and say, yeah, that does it for me.
So, I mean, it's interesting when people draw the comparisons with Eleni Foureira. Let's go to Phil and Michelle. Michelle, you quite famously coined Eleni the most shiny person that you've ever seen in Lisbon.
She was shiny.
I'm not sure Chanel was as shiny as Eleni Foureira, but
No.
there's certainly comparisons in terms of their style and charisma. Could you see a possibility that Spain have one of their best ever Eurovisions?
Well, no, not really. I think the outfit's it's not good enough. It's the way that the black goes up the leg draws your eye to a hoo-hoo. So you're just fixated on a hoo-hoo.
What's wrong with that?
Eleni wasn't. The way that hers was done, you just saw all of her, and she had all the hair and everything. And this is it's just not quite right. And that bit in the middle where she stops and goes all Janet Jackson, we've seen it all before, and it's just not as good as Fuego.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think everyone's going to make the comparison with Fuego, and it's not as good as
Even
Fuego.
though she's got like many clothes on.
And Fuego didn't win as well. The problem, I think that it'd be better sending Tanxugueiras, because at least that's different. It's something we've not heard before, and it stands out.
We've seen it, and it was not too long ago.
I think
we've seen it.
This is down to the juries playing the professional jury just playing safe.
She's not shiny enough. She's not shiny enough.
It'll do better than last year for Spain,
Yeah.
but I don't think it'll do.
But if you're gonna,
I don't think it'll win.
If you're gonna try and do Fuego, you need to be shinier and slicker than that.
But they can change all that between now and Eurovision.
Yeah,
But she's still going to go Janet Jackson in the middle, though, isn't she? And everyone's going to go.
maybe
she's
not.
Janet Jackson in the middle.
the song isn't as good as Fuego either. That's
The only thing I would say is when Fuego was released in 2018, it started at 150 to 1 because people said, not sure I like the song, and I don't know what I'm going to get from Eleni Foureira. And I should know, Andy. You're pointing at me. I put the bet on, so I should know. But do you remember me saying to you, Andy, if she goes to Eurovision, delivers a stunning choreography and a decent vocal on stage, she could be in the running to win. And she was.
I do remember that, and I told you were talking shite.
You did, yeah, you did, yeah.
Yeah, I did. But I was wrong.
Well,
For
I just
once
see
in
the
my
same. I see the same here. If you listen to the song, as we all have done, because we did a preview show and nobody said that this could potentially win Benidorm Fest. The moment you see her on stage, all of that changes. You start seeing a star, and she delivers star quality. Martin, where do you think Spain could finish with a song like this? Is this better than bottom 7? Is it still bottom 7, or is it a potential contender for you?
This is better than bottom 7, mainly because this isn't Spanish. It's Spanish language, but this could be any other, and it's not traditional Spanish, whereas a lot of the other entries were. And looking at the comments that is going on the YouTube for this show, obviously the main thing is, I think that's what's coming across, is that a lot of fans, especially Spanish fans, aren't pleased because Chanel's Slo Mo isn't a traditional Spanish song. But I think commercially, and for a lot of people who'll be voting in the final, especially the public, will like this because it's slick, it was put across well, she's smiley, sexy, whatever you want, and I think this will do well. Winning, no, I suspect we're going to have, well, hopefully we're going to have some good songs coming through. At the moment, I'd probably say it's the best one, but then we've only had 5. But yeah, I think commercially this will do quite well for Spain. And possibly top 10. It depends what else we get. It's a bit difficult to say at the moment. But on the night, it was good. I don't think it was as good as her semi-final performance. I think her reprise was better than the earlier performance in the day. So I think, in a way, she got away with that. But yeah, I think it's a decent winner for tonight. I enjoyed it. It was my favourite of the studio songs. So yeah, I've got no problem with going, but I can see that a lot of fans might not feel the same way.
Yeah, well, it seems, certainly from what I can see in the chat room, there's a gentleman here comparing Chanel to Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, Elliot, you've not been the biggest fan of this song. You and me have been kind of debating this offline quite a bit, and it's clear to see from tonight's guest in the chat room. By the way, those in the chat room tonight, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it's late, especially in Central Europe. Give us a like on the show, please, and appreciate you clicking that subscribe button. But better still, when you click that subscribe button, ding our bell, tickle our bell, give it a little bit of a nudge, because that means when we go live across the Eurovision window or Eurovision season even, we will notify you when we go live on our shows, and you don't want to miss that. We'd love to have you in the chat room. So yeah, Elliot, let's back to the matter in hand. Chanel, what has she got to do to win your vote in May?
This is the thing, I don't know. She's, first and foremost, she's a phenomenal performer and she gives it her everything. But as I did kind of castily say, before she performed, here comes the lip sync assassin, because she relied heavily on that backing vocal tonight. And I think she'll do the same in Turin. Now that rule is in place where you can use backing vocals and they can be pre-recorded, people are going to do that. And that's why we've got a song like this. This wouldn't have happened 2 years ago, because they would have had to have sang a lot more. And I think she will win over the first-time viewer vote, definitely. Will the juries in Turin feel the same way for her when she's against a higher caliber of performers and polish and everything compared to tonight? I don't know. Like, every year we have a song like this and we're convinced it's going to do top 5, top 10, and then it doesn't. And I can understand why some of the Spanish fans are upset, because like Martin said, this isn't a Spanish song. Spanish fans normally get quite cross and very vocal when there's the slightest bit of English in their song. And this is an English or American produced sounding song with several American producers on this song with some Spanish thrown in there to make it sound Spanish. It's safe. That's the thing. They've gone safe, and that's why I don't like the fact that the public had a lower vote than the jury tonight. I don't like how the jury was half the vote and the public was only 25%. I think it's unfair for the public to have their vote discredited by 5 people on the panel. Like she said, she did a phenomenal job performing-wise, but vocally, like Martin said, she got away with it tonight. She wasn't great in places. And I don't see much changing staging-wise between now and Turin, to be honest. So to get my vote or to do really well, I don't know what she's got to do, to be honest. It's hard for me to see this getting higher than 12th, to be honest, just because it's nothing unique or special. And like Philip Michelle said, if you're going to do something that's an early reference that is Fuego, which everyone keeps saying, or J-Lo, you've got to do it better. And I don't think she has. She seems a lovely girl, great performer. She needs to kick it up a notch. That's what she's got to do. She's got to find another gear. And does she have it? I don't know.
Thank you, Elliot. And Tristan, I mean, it's about time Spain, dare I say it, get out of the bottom 7, but let alone that, it'd be nice to see Spain back in the top 10, maybe top 5, maybe even contending. Whether or not this is the year, certainly Spain have elevated their performance in Eurovision. There's no question this competition has been outstanding. We've talked about it being some of, or maybe one of the best national finals in quite some time. How does this song for you deliver on a Eurovision stage, and what is your expectations for Spain going forward?
I think Spain will do very well. I think they'll be maybe top 10. I can't see them winning with it. As I said before, I think Shane would have, and maybe even Shane and Rayden, I think, would have done better for Spain. Rigoberta was my personal favourite. I think that's an amazing song. But it will definitely, I think, make top 10. but I don't know if it will go more than like 8th or 7th or 8th place. But that was still a huge achievement for Spain, who have done so poorly recently. I think it's a great song, but my biggest problem, as Elliot said, is the backing vocals, which are quite clearly there's a lot of backing vocals. So what I would like to see in Turin is for the singers, for her two female dancers to have little microphones on. So even if they're just lip syncing, just to give the illusion that they are singing the backing vocals live, because otherwise it is going to be a distraction for the audience who don't realise necessarily that there's a new rule this year because of COVID that the backing vocal tracks can be pre-recorded. Because there's so much backing vocals that's pre-recorded, if the backing singers could have one of those little microphones hanging by their ear, just to give that illusion, I think, and obviously lip syncing a bit while they're dancing around, I think then that would push Spain into the top 5. But I think a lot of people right now, looking at it how it was staged tonight, would feel, but how much of that is she singing? So I think that's important. But yeah, I mean, hats off to her. I think it's a great song. It wasn't Spain's best song, but Rigoberta, which was Spain's best song in my opinion, possibly may not have connected to the rest of Spain. So this is a good chance for them to shine.
Thank you, Tristan. Look, to summarise, I think what we've seen here is a fantastic competition. I'm going to be the one that says I think Spain can win Eurovision with this. I'm going to echo what Andy said, because Andy said it before me. But I think this is the type of song which, in a year where Eurovision has bounced back, we're now ready to party again. And it's the perfect party song after 2 relatively mediocre years in Eurovision, one of which never happened. The other one kind of happened, but without fans. Providing fans manage to make their way over to Turin in 2022, this could be the song which gets everybody up dancing together, completely united. I love this from Spain. I love the fact they've invested in their competition. I love the fact that they've had several songs that could have gone to Eurovision this year, and I'm delighted for Chanel that she's managed to do it. Spain, and I'm seeing a lot of the comments, very negative, believe in your singer. I'm sorry that you didn't get the choice that you wanted to send. I'm sorry Tanxugueiras haven't made it, but no doubt they'll be back. Personally think you can go on and win Eurovision with this song. Get behind it, and I'm sure you'll have one of the best years you've had in a long, long time. Finally, I'm just going to ask the panel, just going to go around the panel and just get thumbs up or thumbs down whether you think Spain are finishing above... sorry, let me do that again. Whether you think it's been a long night for all of us. Whether you think Spain are going to finish top 10 or bottom half. Yeah, so bottom 17, I think, isn't it? Is it 26 or 27 this year? 26, isn't it?
25.
Is it 25? Okay, top 10, bottom 15. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Let's go Andy first. Thumbs up.
Top 10. Top
10. Phil and Michelle, not sure.
No, I'm going to say top 10. I mean, we've been a bit negative, but it's a good song. It's been a good national final. They were all good songs. And, you know, all right, our favourite didn't win.
Well, your favourite, you mean Boo?
Well, everyone's favourite didn't win. But it's still a good song, and it'll do well. Sorry. Yeah.
Tristan, what about you?
I think it'll be scraping in top 10.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Tristan. Martin, what about you?
Yeah, at the moment, I'd probably say top 10, but yeah, we've still got 36 entries to, haven't we? So yeah, it's got a chance of being there.
I think it has. Very, very excited about this. And Elliot, final point on this.
It's going to be borderline if it's top 10 or not, I think. Like, it's hard to say. Like, Pastor Soleil and Rufo Lorenzo finished around the same, and they were both very strong songs. So it depends what it's against, but I can see it. At the end of the day, though, I'm going to say this, as much as I don't like the song, and this panel tonight has proven it, winners divide opinion, and this song has definitely divided opinion. So it's got the potential to do very, very well. You can only vote for a song, you can't mark it down. And winners split opinion.
They certainly do, absolutely do, and also our panel are quite divided, and our panel sometimes split opinion. So you know what, we're going to see what happens on a Eurovision stage in May. I'd like to say a massive thank you to my panel, huge thank you to Phil and Michelle.
Thanks.
Cheers.
It's been lovely.
Cheers.
Good to see you. I think we're all ready for bed now, aren't we? Big thank you to Andy. He's on mute again. Big thanks to Martin.
Yes, thank you. It's been a great show, actually. Well done to Spain and RTVE for the presentation. And yeah, as you said, to all the Spaniards, support the song. It's the one you're going to have now in Turin. So
yeah, and I tell you, as a Brit, I'll swap you if you like, because whatever we're going to get probably will be weaker than you, a lot weaker than yours. So happy to take Chanel. You can have our rejects if you like. Tristan, thank you very much for being on tonight's show, and thank you for being a part of this. It's been fun, hasn't it?
It has been fun, and I'm looking forward to what they're going to be doing next. I think Spain. I think it's been a winner for RTVE, no matter what happens.
Yeah, I quite agree. And huge thanks to Elliot.
Thank you, and like everyone else has been saying, very well done RTVE. Just don't do the staging yourself. Get Marvin to do it, as he's on the panel tonight. But support the artists that also competed tonight. Clearly, Rigoberta and Tanxugueiras have massive support. I'm still going to support them. The song isn't dead. And they're still going to be around after the contest in May. And who knows, they might come back next year and try again. But good luck, Chanel, as well. Like, it's a decent song at the end of the day. And it's a song you've got, Spain. So if you're not happy, tough, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and don't forget to click the like button, or you can click dislike if you hated everything that we've said tonight. That's fine too. Leave us some nice or nasty comments. If they're nasty comments, direct them to Elliot. If they're nice, direct them to me. That's all good too. And click the subscribe button, ding a dong our bell, and we'll be back here Thursday next week for Melody Grand Prix Heat 4, where we might have a certain wolf and a banana. And then, of course...
Sorry, are we not back tomorrow night?
Yes, we are.
We are.
Oh, fuck it is.
It's been a long day.
I'll tell you what.
It's been a long day.
I've been listening to the Irish songs. They're all shite. But tomorrow night, they're going to be lovely.
So yes, Andy's quite right. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central European time. Join us here.
I don't know why I bother.
As professional as ever.
He is, yeah. Join us here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central European time. We'll be reviewing the 6 Irish songs. Then next Thursday...
Every one of them is a winner.
And then next Thursday we'll be here talking about Norway. And then we might have some San Remo for you on Friday and Saturday night.
Well. Oh, no. San Remo was brilliant.
Anyway, it's now midnight UK time. It's also 1:15 Sunday morning Central European time. We're going to get out of here because we all want another glass of wine. Have a wonderful rest of night, whatever you're doing. If you're still watching, thanks for watching. And we will see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Buenas noches.